In this installment, we have a 6-game slate for Tuesday on DraftKings and Fanduel. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your NBA slate on Tuesday for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Guys, if you are a viewer and currently not a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. We are currently at 766. The goal is 1K. 1K will be the cash giveaway, so you guys can bet. Get on DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever you like, all right? Now, let's deep dive into this Tuesday slate. Short and sweet, but I'm going to give you the best plays at each and every position, starting at the point guard, and that will be Cameron Payne for the Phoenix Suns. He's been outstanding in the absence of obviously Chris Paul and Devin Booker. He has stepped up in back-to-back games against Milwaukee and against the New York Knicks. 46 DraftKings points against the Knicks. Beautiful performance. Excuse me. A beautiful performance. 17 points, 16 assists, 3 rebounds. And then against the Milwaukee Bucks, 23 points, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, and 1 block. So 5,300, you're getting a starting point guard putting up big numbers. They are decimated on the Phoenix side, so we should see a closer game. This won't be an absolute blowout. This is not the Orlando has more talent than what Portland Trailblazers can put on the court, so this should be a closer type of game. And their defense has lacked a little bit, obviously without Chris Paul, their general Devin Booker. There's been these are backups we're talking about here, so I like Cameron Payne at 5,300. Let's move over to the shooting guard position. And I will talk about Markelle FULTZ as our point guard / shooting guard that we can use for tomorrow's slate. Now, this one has a reason that I'm looking towards it, and that's only because Jalen Suggs. He is currently questionable. He did not go through practice the other day, so that is trending for their young guard and Markelle FULTZ getting starters minutes. He's come back from his injury in 3 games, 16, 15, and 19 minutes. If Jalen Suggs is out, he will be boosted to the starting lineup, and those minutes will increase all the way up to around 30 minutes. So you should see more production from Markelle FULTZ if he's thrusted in that starting lineup, with a possibility that Jalen Suggs will be out. And the fact that he's going to be at his cheapest price at 4,300 could be a steal on FanDuel and DraftKings. All right, so I like Markelle FULTZ as a shooting guard. All right, next we're going to move over to the small forward position, and the guy we're going to be looking at will be LAURI Markkanen for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the Cavs did lose one of the big men in Jarrett Allen, so they're going to be keying in on LAURI Markkanen, obviously Evan Mobley, and I have another gem for you on the Cleveland Cavaliers side. But Markkanen stepped up in that game against Toronto, 38 minutes, put in a nice double-double, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 1 block. He has the upside. Obviously, was a draft pick for the Chicago Bulls. There's still so much upside for this young talent, and now only bumped them up only $100 more to 5,700 against Indiana, who's lost a ton of bigs. So this is definitely an opportunity that LAURI Markkanen can exploit, and getting starters minutes. I like him at 5,700. All right, let's move on to the power forward position. I got 2 power forwards for you. The first one we're going to talk about will be the other gem on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Coming off the bench, pretty much the 6th man, Kevin Love will be someone we're going to key in on at 5,800. Jarrett Allen's injury has an opening for him, and he had 30 minutes against Toronto. Came through with 15 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, almost a double-double there. He can easily stuff the stat sheet with points and rebounds very quickly. Kevin Love still has upside at his cheap price, under 6K. So we are going to look his way, all right? And then next, for our power forward position. He has dual eligibility, and that will be Miles Bridges going up against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, they just gave up a huge game to Jason Tatum. Obviously, there's question marks and on some of our defensive sets and one-on-one situations, but Miles Bridges is the type of how you want to say it, shooting forward that can definitely exploit our problems on the defensive side of the ball. He can score it in a myriad of ways, can knock down the three, has high flying ability. In a previous matchup already against the Brooklyn Nets, he came through with 53 fantasy points, and at only 7,900, there's a ton of upside for Miles Bridges. Home, the Charlotte Nets are home, so Charlotte Hornets are home, and definitely can exploit the Brooklyn Nets weaknesses down low. Love Miles Bridges at only 7,900. So this could be a very, very good play for Tuesday. All right, Miles Bridges. Let's move over to the center position, and we are going to look at the Phoenix Suns here, and that will be DeAndre Ayton at only 6,600. He's coming in, and with this depleted offense, obviously Cam Johnson as well. They're looking at Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton as kind of their offense right here. And they've ran a lot of sets in that Milwaukee game for DeAndre Ayton, high pick and rolls, getting him get him open down low in those type of situations. A quick pop because he has the ability to knock down the mid-range jump shot. So you saw that. And you saw the field goal attempts all the way to 19 field goal attempts for DeAndre Ayton. He even hit a three against the Milwaukee Bucks. So 30 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Very, very productive against the Bucks. I see that coming over against Orlando, who are weaker against the center position. And I expect him to get a double-double in this one at 6,600. That is way too cheap for someone that is really the number one star on this offense now, since there's no Cam Johnson, no Devin Booker, and no Chris Paul. So we love DeAndre Ayton. Now, let's move over to FanDuel, and let's finish this video up. The other shooting guard that I do like, and he's way too cheap on FanDuel, a little more expensive on DraftKings, and that's going to be Klay Thompson. So 5,500 on FanDuel, and if we're looking at him on DraftKings, Klay Thompson is 6,700. So you get $1,200 in difference here between Klay Thompson on FanDuel and Klay Thompson on DraftKings. So I love him on FanDuel at this current price of 5,500. There's still meat on that bone for him to go off. If he decides to knock down 4 or 5 threes, he can definitely do that against the LA Clippers, and the Warriors are struggling right now, so they definitely need the second part of the Splash Brothers to come through. All right, now let's get to some of our value plays. The value plays, the one of them that I'm looking at is Alexei POKUSEVSKI for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's come through at 5,900 on FanDuel, and if we're looking at him on DraftKings, he is 5,600. So you save some salary here on DraftKings with this power forward, small forward combo, big man that they have. The number one guy in this offense is obviously SGA, but the number two option has been Pokey. Now, Pokey has come through with solid performances, a double-double against Utah, almost another double-double against Denver. He's knocking down shots, 6 of 15 against Utah, 4 of 10 against Minnesota, and 4 of 9 against Denver. He really needs some help on the offensive side of the ball. Darius Bazley is usually a guy we would like to look towards, but he's been very, very hot and cold. I'm looking for someone more consistent, and you see his salary has risen all the way to 5,600. That's because the production is there, and that's because the minutes are there as well. 34 minutes against Utah Jazz, 27 against Minnesota, 29 against Denver. So we're looking for a solid value play that can provide scoring punch. And against Milwaukee, they're going to need to keep pace up with the Bucks. Thunder are home, so they should be able to keep it within the point spread as well. So I like Pokey at 5,600. All right, let's move on to another center play that I think is way too cheap, another value play. That's Andre Drummond at 4,500 on FanDuel, going up against the Charlotte Hornets. Now, what did I tell you about these bigs going up against the Hornets, the Kings, all those types of teams? We want to take full advantage of that. Andre Drummond, this could be a very high-scoring affair between the Nets and the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets are one of the worst teams rebounding in the league, and you got one of the more efficient rebounders in the league still, and that is Andre Drummond. As long as he's getting his minutes, he can create a ton of damage. Probably, hopefully, definitely love his prop at over 10 rebounds. It's going to be at plus money because he hasn't been very consistent as of late, but there's an opportunity going up against the Charlotte Hornets for Andre Drummond. I really like him at 5,800 on DraftKings and especially on FanDuel at 4,500. Just looking at this game log here, 16 fantasy points against Boston, 12 against Miami, 14 against Toronto, but the upside is there. Look at that Milwaukee game, 17-12, 5-1, and 2. In this matchup going up against the Charlotte Hornets, it is perfect for him to bounce back, and he is the starting center for the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to need his size going up against Plumlee, Bridges, and they got some guys off the bench that can bang as well. And then last but not least, the lock of the night. The lock of the night will be Ja Morant for the Memphis Grizzlies going up against the Pelicans. Pelicans have been playing very, very well, trying to scratch and claw for one of those last Western Conference playoff spots. So Ja Morant is back home and at 9,900 on FanDuel. That is a great price there. If you want to compare that on DraftKings, Ja Morant is looking at 10,700, so $800 in savings. He gets to come back home against the Pelicans. Struggled the past 2 games, only 37 fantasy points against Houston, 42 against Orlando. That's not as usual, but one of the season highs against the Pelicans at 52 fantasy points. Ja Morant is a steal going up against the New Orleans Pelicans, getting that home cooking. I love Morant as the lock of the night for Tuesday. All right, guys, let me know down below in that comment section if you have any other suggestions at any of the spots I just spoke about: point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, value play, and lock of the night. If you have any other suggestions, let me know in that comment section down below. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNSJSD, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Also, I will be switching over to bets videos, all right? So there'll be one video with DraftKings FanDuel, and then the next video will be bets. I'm trying to incorporate that more and more because don't forget, this is a betting channel. Obviously, I'm very well versed in DraftKings and FanDuel, but we're going to incorporate more betting videos on this channel, all right? Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out.